Hi guys and welcome back to Tetra Hub. In this video we're going to be going over the advanced version of the beginner's method. And also, this isn't a tutorial on how to solve the cube, it's just some tips and tricks to get faster at the beginner's method. So if you don't already know the beginner's method, the video is up there. And also, different people have different versions of the beginner's method. So the advanced version I'll be covering today is the advanced version of the beginner's method that I taught in that video up there. So without further ado, let's get right into the tips and tricks. So the first step is learning finger tricks. So what finger tricks are is basically like turning fast. Or not necessarily turning fast, but finger tricks are using fingers to turn the cube and not your whole hand. So finger tricks aren't really something that can be taught, but here are the basics. So for R or R prime turns, you can use your right hand like this to turn. For L or L prime, you can use your left hand to turn the left side like this. For U or U prime movements, you can use your two index fingers to flick the top side. For D or D prime movements, you can use your two ring fingers to flick these two sides. For F, you can hold these two layers with your pinky finger here and use your thumb to push this down or push this up. And that's for F turns. For B, you can hold the cube like this and use your two ring fingers to flick this side. Now, those are just the basic finger tricks. If you want to get faster using finger tricks, just practice, try to get better at it, and soon you'll be turning like this. Now, one thing to keep note of while doing finger tricks is that not all cubes are great for finger tricks. So you'll need a speed cube for this, not just any old Rubik's cube because they might be a little hard to turn. So one good Rubik's cube, not Rubik's cube, speed cube that is cheap and also very good for its price is this cube. This is called the Yushin Little Magic and you can get it for $5 US. I'll put a link to this cube in the description box below. Now the next tip in the beginner's method is just to practice. So at this stage when you've just learned how to solve the cube, it's good to just practice doing solves, getting those pauses out, stuff like that. And you'll get much faster that way. Okay, so the next thing I have for you guys is some extra algorithms for the first layer. So you don't need all these algorithms, you can just use logic. If you're kind of stuck, I can show you. So what I taught you in the beginner's method tutorial before is that when you find a white corner piece, put it above the spot where it goes, and then do the S move, which is R, U, R prime, U prime, until the piece is solved. But this might take a long time as it takes more than one time most of the times for the piece to get solved. So another technique I have for you is a bit harder. So first thing, like I said before, find a white corner piece, put it above the spot where it goes. Now next step, like I said in the tutorial, hold it on the top right. If the white side of the corner piece is facing the right, then what you can do is just R, U, R prime, and the piece will be solved. Now if the white side of the piece is on the top, then what you should do is R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, and this piece will be solved. Now if the white side of this corner piece is facing U, like to the front, then what you should do is U, R, U prime, R prime, and the piece will be solved. Now another technique for this is mirroring. So when you see the same thing, you can still do that on the left. Like instead of putting it on the top right, you can put the piece and the place where it's supposed to go on the top left, and then use the same thing as I said before, just a mirror image of it. Okay, so next step takes a little practice to implement in your solves. So in the regular algorithm, if the piece goes to the left, then what you do is this algorithm, and notice it has this U move at the beginning. So before you connect it to its center, if you can just minus that U move from the algorithm and do the rest of the algorithm, then you'll save 2 moves. And that's not that great of a time saver, but it is kind of. Now do keep in note that only use this after you've figured out that you're bringing it here and then bringing it back to the spot where it was before. Because if it's, for example, in this situation, this piece is right here. And here in this situation, you can't use this technique because after you connect it to its center, you have to move it in the opposite direction. So it doesn't go here. Okay guys, so next tip is for the yellow cross. So usually whatever case you get, based on the case, you position it in the right way. For example, backwards L, you hold it like this and do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and you have to repeat it a couple of times based on which situation you have. So in this tip, I'm going to teach you some extra algorithms so you don't have to repeat an algorithm more than once. So if you got the backwards L situation, hold it like this in the backwards L situation, like I said in the tutorial, and do this algorithm. F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime, and you'll have the cross solved. If you have the horizontal line situation, then hold it like this in the horizontal line situation and do this algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and the cross will be solved. If you have the dot situation, which is just the centerpiece, and by the way, don't mind the corner pieces, just ignore them like I said in the tutorial. So if you get the dot case, what you should do is, I forgot to teach you. So a wide F or a wide anything is basically not just that layer, but the layer next to it. So if I say wide F, it's not just F, but it's these 2 layers, the front 2 layers. If I say wide R, that's the right 2 layers. If I say wide L, it's these 2 layers. So again, the algorithm is F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, wide F, R, U, R prime, U prime, wide F prime. And you'll have the cross solved. So the next tip is another algorithm, but this algorithm is after the yellow corners are solved for the side colors. So when there aren't any headlights, this is an algorithm so that you automatically get full headlights. So if you get a situation where there aren't any headlights, like this one, this has blue and green, not headlights, orange and red, not headlights, green and blue, not headlights, like that. So if you get something like this where there are no headlights, then the algorithm you should do, and by the way, put the first 2 layers on the bottom. So the algorithm you should do is F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, F prime. And you'll automatically have full headlights. So the next tip, sorry guys, but this is more algorithms. So these algorithms are for every single case you can get after you have all headlights solved. So the first case is when you have one whole bar solved like this on the top layer. So when you have that kind of case, put the bar on the back. And there are 2 kinds of cases where you can get the bar at the back. I'll show you both. So the first one, so after you put the bar at the back, look at the front headlights. So right now, in my situation, the front headlight is red because the corner pieces here are red. So now figure out where this middle piece is. So in my situation, my middle piece is on the right side. So if the edge piece is on the right, then what you should do is F2, U, L, R prime, F2, L prime, R, U, F2. And you'll have the whole thing solved. You might have to just turn the top layer once or twice. Okay, so this next case is same thing as the last case, except for one thing. So I'll just go over all parts of the case first. So just like last case, there is one bar on the top layer that has all colors solved. And like I said in the last case, put that bar in the back. Now when you put it in the back, whichever headlight you have at the front, which in my situation is red, try to find the edge piece that goes in between those headlights, which in my situation is a red and yellow edge piece. So in my situation, the red and yellow edge piece is to the left. And depending on which color headlights you have, look for that color. So if you have green headlights, then look for a green edge piece that goes in the middle. If you have blue headlights, look for a blue edge piece that goes in the middle. In my situation, the piece that goes in the middle is to the left. So if you get a situation like this, where the piece is to the left, then do this algorithm. F2, U prime, L, R prime, F2, L prime, R, U prime, F2. And the cube will be solved. You might have to turn the top layer just once or twice so that it's actually matched up with the other colors. And yeah, that's this situation. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next case is called H-perm. So if you have a situation where all of the headlights are solved, but none of them have the edge piece solved along with it, and the edge piece that's in the middle of every single headlight is an opposite one. The headlights here is blue, and the edge piece that is in the middle right now is green. And as you know, green and blue are opposites, so these have opposite colors. And red and orange are opposites, blue and green opposites, red and orange opposites. Like that, if you get a situation like that where every single side has opposites, then what you should do is, and new move for algorithms, this is called M. So that's middle. So if I just say M, that means this middle layer going down. And if I say M prime, that is the middle layer going up, like this. So if you get the case where you have all opposite colors, just put the first two layers on the bottom and then do this algorithm. M prime, M prime, U prime, M prime, M prime, U2, M prime, M prime, U prime, M prime, M prime. And that'll solve the whole cube. So if you get a situation where all the headlights are solved, where you have all headlights and none of the edge pieces are solved, and also you don't have opposites like that last situation, then what you do is just put the first two layers on the bottom. And then next step, this is very important. Okay, so next step is to make sure that the piece that goes here in the middle is to the right, like it is in my case. Then once you've held it in that sort of position, and again, don't hold it like this because a blue edge piece is supposed to go here, and there isn't a blue edge piece on the top layer here. But if I hold it like this, here there are orange headlights and an orange edge piece is supposed to go here. So if I look at the right, there is an orange edge piece on the top layer here. So I can hold it like this. So hold it in that kind of way. So once you've done that, and first two layers on the bottom, So once you have done that, do this algorithm. M prime, M prime, U, M prime, M prime, U, M prime, U2, M prime, M prime, U2, M prime. And you'll have the whole cube solved. So guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and learned a couple of things. And if you liked it, please subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. Like this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below and I'll try to answer them. So until next time, goodbye.